3 million.
Yeah.
That's the UN number for shipwrecks just sitting on the ocean floor.
It's an incredible figure, isn't it? Hard to even picture.
Totally. But today we're not exactly plumbing the depths. We're staying closer to shore.
Right. We've picked out 10 really remarkable wrecks, the ones you can actually see beached or in shallow water.
Yeah, the ones that give you that tangible link to history, And also, wow, the power of nature.
Exactly.
So think of this as like your curated tour of these grounded giants. Our mission.
Find the best stories, right? The most fascinating bits behind these 10.
Precisely. Let's dive in. Where are we starting? A ship with a serious history, I think.
We are. The American Star met its end on Fuerteventura in the Canaries.
Ah, the American Star.
And what's amazing is just how many different hats this ship wore.
Right.
Started as the SS America, a luxury liner, then USS West Point during World War II, carrying troops.
Busy ship.
Very.
Yeah.
And then sailed as the Australis. It saw a huge chunk of the 20th century.
A real lifetime at sea. Makes you wonder about the stories locked in its hull, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And its end wasn't exactly peaceful retirement, was it? We're like, bang.
Not at all. January 18th, 1994. A really vicious storm hits while it's being towed.
And bam, onto the beach. Playa de Garcia.
That's the one. A dramatic end, for sure.
The story didn't stop there, did it? The sea kept working on it.
Oh, relentlessly. Within a year, it actually broke in two.
A year? That's fast for something so big.
It really is. The ocean just, well, it tore it apart. The stern section went first.
Right.
Then by, let's see, 2007, the rest of it just collapsed onto its side.
Ah.
And by the early 2010s, it was mostly underwater. It really shows how quickly nature reclaims things.
Yeah, there's that photo from 2004 you mentioned. It looks pretty far gone even then.
It does. A stark visual.
A powerful reminder. Okay, let's hop over to Greece. The Demetrios. Different kind of vessel.
Totally different, much smaller scale. The Demetrios was originally the Klintholm. It's a little 67-meter freight ship built back in 1950. Could carry just under 1,000 tons.
And it's been stuck there a while.
Since December 23rd, 1981, on the beach of Valtaki near Gifio.
81. Wow.
Yeah, it's been part of that coastline for, what, over 40 years now? It's practically a landmark.
More than 40 years. Amazing. Okay, from Greece, let's go somewhere maybe less expected for shipwrecks. Uganda, Lake Albert.
That's right. The SS Robert Corendon. This one's tied into a specific era.
Colonial history.
Exactly. Launched in 1930, it was a British passenger and cargo ferry, but more than that.
Part of a bigger system.
Precisely. It was a link in the chain railways, river steamers, lake steamers, all connecting British interests across Africa. Kind of a floating piece of the empire, you could say.
So not just transport, but a symbol, too. What happened to it? Sank in 62?
It did sink in 1962. The exact cause isn't detailed in what we looked at, sort of an open question there.
Interesting.
But we know it was partially submerged, still visible, until around 2009.
Still there for a long time then.
Yeah, but then by early 2012, the main structure was gone. Taken away, salvaged maybe.
Oh, okay.
All that was left were these aft king posts sticking out of the water. You know, the support posts at the back.
So some vanish, some stick around. Which brings us back to Greece and maybe the most famous shipwreck beach ever, the Panagiotis.
Oh, definitely. Zakynthos, that cove, it's just unreal.
Navajo Beach, they call it now, right? Shipwreck Beach.
That's it. Navajo just means shipwreck. The wreck itself almost made the place famous. It's a huge tourist draw.
You see the pictures, that rusted ship on the white sand, the blue water. It's incredible.
Absolutely breathtaking. A gift for photographers.
And the ship itself, built in Scotland, 1937, wrecked in 1980. And the story involves dodgy cargo.
That's the popular version, yeah. Supposedly carrying contraband cigarettes. And the Greek Navy was apparently in pursuit. Gives it a bit of extra spice, doesn't it?
That of outlaw glamour. Okay, from sunny Greece to maybe stormier shores. Ireland, the MV Plassey.
That's the one. Inisheer in the Aran Islands. And yeah, talk about storms. This one had a double dose.
2 storms. How did that happen?
Well, the Plassey was a steam trawler, launched late 1940s, first got into trouble March 8, 1960.
Okay.
Huge storm in Galway Bay. Threw it onto Finnis Rock.
Ouch. Stuck on a rock.
But that wasn't the end. Weeks later, another massive storm hits.
Into a name.
Yep. Washed it off the rock and chucked it right onto the shore of Inisheer Island itself.
No way. Talk about bad luck. Or maybe good luck, it ended up on the beach, not sunk.
Maybe. Definitely a dramatic sequence. Wrong place, wrong time. Twice.
Incredible image, I bet. Another fixture of the coastline. Okay, let's cross the globe again. Australia, Stockton Beach, MV Cygna. Sounds bigger.
Much bigger. The Cygna was a Norwegian bulk carrier. 53,000 tons.
Wow. Proper large vessel.
Yeah, carries stuff like coal, grain, and guess what grounded it?
Let me guess.
A storm?
Bingo. May 26, 1974, another major storm. Pushed it onto Stockton Beach in New South Wales.
And it's still there. Yep. Like the Dimitrios in Greece, it's become a real local icon, a landmark. There's a photo from 2005 showing it pretty well integrated into the scene.
It's funny how these disasters become, well, part of the place, part of the identity.
It is, yeah. A new life, in a way.
Okay, now for one that's, well, much more recent, much more tragic, the Costa Concordia.
Yeah. This one's different, very somber.
Italy, 2012.
January 13th, 1312, off Isola di Giglio. Huge cruise ship. Just ran aground and capsized.
And a loss of life.
Terrible. 32 people died. It's the largest passenger shipwreck in recent memory. Just awful.
A really stark reminder of the human cost these events can have. Very different feel to the others.
Absolutely. The scale, the tragedy, it puts things in perspective.
Right. Okay, shifting gears again. Back in time and to an unusual material. The SS Sapona in the Bahamas. Concrete hull.
Yeah, pretty unusual. Concrete hull, cargo steamer, experimental tech for the time.
And it met its in-hell, hurricane.
Yep, ran aground near Bimini during a hurricane way back in 1926.
1926. And it's still visible.
Very much so. Sticks right out of the water. Which makes it useful, actually.
How so?
Well, it's a navigational landmark for boats. And it's a really popular dive site, too. Lots to see underwater.
Cool. And it had another life
Ah.
as a target.
It did. During World War II, the U.S. Army, Air Force, and Navy apparently used it for bombing practice.
Wow. From cargo ship to reef to target range.
Yeah.
Quite the journey.
It really is.
Okay, nearly there. Penultimate wreck. Skeleton Coast, Namibia. Sounds ominous. The Edward Bolen.
Ominous name, ominous place. The Skeleton Coast is littered with wrecks. This one grounded September 5, 1909. Thick fog.
Right on the coast.
Well, it was. But here's the amazing thing. The desert sands have just shifted massively.
So where is it now?
Today, the wreck of the Edward Bolen is sitting in the sand about a quarter of a mile inland.
A quarter mile. Seriously.
Seriously. Completely surrounded by sand. It's a surreal sight. Shows you how much coastlines can change.
That's incredible. A ship stranded in the desert. Powerful image. All right, our final wreck takes us to the Galapagos. And this one had serious consequences beyond the ship itself, the MV Jessica.
Yeah, this is a really important one environmentally. An oil tanker.
Oh, dear.
It ran aground on the evening of January 16, 2001, right at Wreck Bay near the main port.
And it was carrying oil.
A lot of it. 600 tons of diesel, 300 tons of intermediate fuel oil, and tragically, it spilled.
Into the Galapagos ecosystem.
Exactly. One of the most unique, precious, and fragile ecosystems on the planet. It was described as one of the worst environmental disasters in the archipelago's history.
Devastating. The impact must have been huge.
Immense. And the long-term effects on that unique wildlife, they're still being studied, still felt today.
A really sobering end to our tour. It highlights a totally different kind of impact a shipwreck can have.
Absolutely.
So looking back at these 10, quite a range, isn't it? Storms, accidents, wartime service, smuggling, tragedy, environmental disaster.
It really covers the spectrum. And they end up as landmarks, dive sites, navigational hazards, tragic memorials, or ecological scars.
Yeah. And what strikes me is how these static objects, these rusting hulks, they actually tell really dynamic stories, don't they?
They really do. Stories of human ambition, trade, war, error, and always the sheer power of the sea and the environment, how it shapes things, reclaims things.
So maybe the thought to leave you with is, next time you see one of these images, or maybe you're lucky enough to see a wreck yourself, just think about those layers.
The history beneath the rust.
Exactly. And consider all those other stories, the 3 million maybe, still out there, under the waves, or maybe even buried in the sand, just waiting.